Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before we get started, make sure you check out homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com to check out our traveling schedule for this year. Very excited visiting 14 states for 2025. So please make sure you check out homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com because we are coming to a city near you. And also remember that homeschooling was never meant to be done alone. It takes a village. And there's a cool app that's available for you to build a community with. Check out Basecamp Ed. It's a free resource. You can download it from your app store. And it's really cool. I started using it last week. So, and they're one of our proud sponsors. And also check out Classical Conversations. I had a little brain fart. Classical Conversations, they are also a great support community for homeschool community, or yeah, for homeschool in general, but they have curriculum and they also offer support, meetings, all that good stuff. So check them out also, Classical Conversations. Okay. Look at me being adult. Okay, so all that's out the way. Now we have with us Abby. Abby, introduce yourself.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Abby. I am from South Florida and I'm currently a full-time tutor down here. And yeah, I think we'll get into the other fun stuff later.
Of course, of course. So, what has been your journey through education? How did you land to tutoring?
Ooh, okay. So, um, I first of all, we go all the way back to my roots. My mom was a teacher, um, my whole life. She was a second grade teacher. And it's funny because I told myself I'm not going to be a teacher when I grow up. Like, I was like, I've seen all the ins and outs of it and I don't like it. So, probably not going to do that. But I went to college and put my major as education. So, I did the exact opposite of what I said I wasn't going to do. But I did decide that I had a heart for middle school.
Mm.
That was something, I don't know, when I was like around the middle school population, I had a big heart for them and I knew I wanted to teach them. So I graduated and started teaching immediately after. I was a middle school teacher. I was a middle school teacher teaching sixth grade in Georgia. That's where I went to college. So I just kind of transitioned to continuing to be in Georgia. But then I came back home and taught for 4 more years at my old high school, actually. I taught middle school and
Oh,
high school. Yeah. And I had to make a really hard decision to not teach anymore. And
mm.
the reality is that I loved what I did with the students. I really did. Every day was a journey. It was something new that would happen. And I loved teaching, but it was just everything else that was just really tolling on me. And so I had to like take a step back and be like, I got to figure out something else to do. While I was teaching, I was also coaching softball, I was coaching volleyball, I was a tutor whenever I had the opportunity to. So I was doing a lot, being pulled in a lot of different directions. Um, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I got to figure out something to do that's with kids, but like not going to like take a toll on me emotionally and physically and like all of that teaching had. So I worked at a church. I was a kids ministry director. I worked as an after school program manager. I even worked at a spa to like see if I could get something out of that and like nothing was working. And so I was talking to my boyfriend actually and I'm like nothing is working. I don't know what to do. Um and I was like, I wish I could just open my own tutoring business. Like, I feel like that would be really cool. And he's like, well, why don't you just do it? And I was like, okay. And then it just so happens I was talking to a friend of mine, and she randomly had a very cheap, like, office being rented right next to her. Like, they in their same little office area, they had an open office space. And I was like, okay, maybe this is like God telling me we gotta do this. So in May of 2023, I um, came up with a name and told the state of Florida I had a business and started tutoring from my little small cubicle office in Davie. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started. It was a journey, definitely.
Of course.
And I'm glad, like looking back on it now, I've still learned so much in it. It hasn't been 2 years yet, but it's about to be very soon in May. Um, and there's like so many things I've learned along the way, but I would recommend to anyone to be a tutor. It's great. It's a really great way to like have the best of both worlds, best
Mm.
of every world, really, because the parents love you, the kids, you have them like they love you. You spend an hour with them, you're helping them. Um, it's really it's everything that you would want in like education world, I feel like. But yeah, that's it.
Nice. Okay. So let's talk about your time in the classroom.
Yeah.
So you started with middle school. What's your take on middle school?
Yeah.
Because I taught middle and high school also. So what's
Oh
your take on
yeah.
middle school?
Oh my goodness. They're just trying to figure out life, man. Like they are just first of all, they want to be your friend. So it's like really hard because you gotta keep it like balanced. But um they're just trying to go through and like figure out how to be on your good side, but then at the same time be like friends with everyone. They don't want to seem like the too close to the teacher. But but yeah, and I think that it's also the time where they kind of realize that school is another level. Like it's going to only get harder from there academically. And so that's actually why middle school is a really big population for tutoring too, because especially with COVID, like they're struggling with a lot of different things. Um, so yeah, I mean, I love I love middle school. High school, they get a little bit more mature. It's harder to like have that relationship with them. You got to try a little harder. But middle school, they're fun.
Right.
Seventh grade is the middle child of middle school. I was whenever I was told I was teaching seventh grade, I was like, seventh grade is tough. But sixth grade, they're still little babies, like elementary babies, really. And then eighth grade, they're like, okay, I'm
Almost
like, oh,
adults.
yeah,
They're basically adults
exactly.
there.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
What were you teaching?
Oh, so I taught at a small private Christian school, and
Oh,
that means that like you don't really teach one thing. You teach
okay.
like 3 to 4 different things in one year. There was one year I taught 5 different subjects actually, or well,
Oh,
5 different
wow.
grade levels. So like I've literally taught sixth and seventh grade math, pre-algebra, algebra. And then for English, I taught sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth grade English. And then
Oh,
I
wow.
also taught one year 11th grade British Lit. Um, so it was kind of like split up in between the different years. But my favorite was always there was one year that I only taught math, and I liked that
Mm.
year. But by the end of the day, like my brain felt like the gears were like turned way too fast. Like it was like a lot of my brain having to teach so much math every day. But yeah, I taught a lot of different ones
Oh,
all
wow.
across the board.
Yes. I've never, oh, goodness. I can't imagine teaching all
Yeah,
those different
yeah,
subjects.
I
I
know.
taught English,
Oh,
strictly English,
nice.
and creative writing. I did creative writing in high
Yeah,
school, but English definitely stayed on that side of the spectrum. No math for
yeah,
me, at all. So that you made my brain hurt when you just said that algebra,
yeah.
pre-algebra, like what? Wait
Mhm.
a minute, all of this. Um,
I am.
okay, so high school, what is it? Okay, so did you feel because high school, I tell you, I had an involuntary transfer to high school, but I ended up
Right?
liking it a
Yes.
lot.
It usually happens like that. It usually
Right.
happens like that.
Right. So high school is kind of like, they're more adulting
Yeah.
ish. And they're like the conversation's definitely different. So I taught
Yes.
10th grade first and then 12th grade, my last couple
Yes.
years. So it was
Nice.
totally different. But middle school was always where my heart was too. I did middle
Right.
school for a long time.
Hmm.
And I said seventh grade is that year. It's like,
Yes.
That is
They're
that
really
year.
trying you.
What?
They're really
Okay.
trying you, seventh
Yes, and
grade. I
it's
don't know
wild the
why.
transition from 6 to 7, and you were able to see
Hmm.
that transition from 6 to 7 because it is
In
like
the
six.
same day. Yeah.
It's like, yo, you were just a baby, like you were so sweet and
Yes.
gentle, and now who are you? Like, you
Right.
want beef? You want smoke?
Something
Like, that's crazy.
happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's like a little chemical imbalance that occurs. I don't know. I don't know. Not a doctor,
Yes.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, you taught, and then so you taught through the shutdown.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, my first, so I taught in Georgia for a year, and that first class that I had, the way that they did it in Georgia was a little different. Like I had two classes, and I taught them math and I taught them English. And so I had like four periods really, but they were like long. It was like an hour and a
Mm.
half that I was with them. So those kids, those 45 kids that I had, I was so close to. Like they were always they're seniors this year.
Oh,
That little sixth grade class that I had, they're seniors. I cannot believe it. I almost want to like go back to Georgia and go to their
oh,
graduation,
right.
but
Oh,
I can't believe it. But anyways, then I came to my old high school, and a lot of people like knew me there because it's a small school. And I was like having a great year, man. I was killing it. And then COVID happened and I had to switch to online. That was a tough year. Like it was because it went from being so good to like,
oh,
bam, we're shutting everything down. I'm like, oh my God. So, and actually at my school that I taught at, they have little what do we call them? Like little portables that you can live in, like that they have for teachers. And I ended up moving out and moving in with my parents because I'm like so alone here in this portable by myself.
wait, hold on, back up.
Yeah,
Don't scoot
yeah,
over that. So wait, the
yes.
school provided portables for you also. Was this a public? What kind of school was this?
It was a private school. It's a
Oh, this was
private
the private
school.
Christian also?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And it's like for they have a you if you have a family, you can live there. Um,
It's on the
I was
school campus?
yeah, yeah. So
Oh, wow.
I would wake up and get dressed and just walk to my classroom. It was very
What?
nice. Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
crazy. I've never heard that. That's wild. I
Yeah,
got kind of like that.
yeah, I know.
Like no excuse for being late. You are here already.
Yes, exactly. And then sometimes if I was like really tired, I would go home and like during my lunch, I would take a nap at
Oh,
home really
wow.
quick and
Yes.
then go back. It was nice, but I only lived there for what, 7 months, 8 months because
Okay.
of COVID. And then when COVID happened, I went to move in with my parents because I did have a roommate, but like she kind of did the same thing. She's like, I'm just gonna go home because we're not here. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah. And yeah, and then COVID happened and it was hard because like you could only do so much, especially
Mhm.
like that year was the year I was teaching algebra and pre-algebra online.
Mm.
They added a class to my schedule. So I was actually at 8 periods that year.
Oh,
And
wow.
they added a class because a teacher got like really, really, really sick. So they kind
Mm.
of had to split up. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know I tried the best that I could to teach the kids online and like, but that's pretty much all you can do. And then
Indeed, right.
coming back after COVID was a whole other thing too. Like, because we were in person, but like what they did is that they made the teachers be the ones to move classrooms and the kids stayed in the classrooms. We had to have these like face shields and we had to these cards that we'd have to carry around with all of our books and go to classroom to classroom. Maybe that's why I wanted to stop. I was like, this is too much.
Like in
Yeah, it'd be too
hindsight.
much. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
maybe
that sounds
that's
like a
why.
lot. And it's nice to hear like the different like procedures that schools were going about handling that
Yeah,
because everyone was
yeah,
different.
Yeah, and the schools are probably just trying to figure out the best way to get things done, you know? So,
Indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a trying time for all involved as far as
Yeah.
education goes. So yeah, kudos to you. You made it through, but you was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no, this ain't it.
This ain't
This
it.
ain't it.
I
This
mean,
ain't it.
now when it comes to like online tutoring though, I do like I have a knack for it now because I did it for a long time. Well, a long time, but like when you're doing it so often, you know, I feel like that's a positive thing that like came out of
Yeah.
it. When people say like, "Oh, I don't like online." Well, maybe just try it with that person, you know, because you never know
Mhm.
how it could go. They probably are really good at doing online at this point.
Right. I mean, the virtual thing is definitely a thing. Were your students made to have their cameras on, or
Yeah,
was it
but then you get
voluntary?
like, "Oh, my camera's not working." And like, okay, well, you and the other 5 kids, your cameras are not working. Okay, right.
Oh my, yeah, because I was born yesterday. So go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes. Ah, well, all right. So with that, you took your experience in the classroom and you established tutoring.
Yes. Yes. Um, I I feel like I got really blessed early on. I could really tell that like I started probably the worst time ever to start a tutoring business. I literally started my first day in business was May 10th, which that's like literally the end of the school year.
Oh,
Um,
shucks.
yeah, but I don't know. It's like everything was like moving, and I was like, well, we're just gonna try it out. And I actually that summer I was extremely busy, like very, very, very
Mm.
busy, which was great. Like I was able to like establish clientele before the school year. Summer tutoring is actually it should be a thing. I really think so. Maybe not like as rigorous as the school year, but at least like once a week to like keep your mind going, keep the kids' mind going, getting them ready and like go on your vacations, go do this and that, but like keeping their mind going instead of just like stopping, um, I think is important. But
Yeah.
yeah, then we got into the school year. Um, one thing like business side that I realized was really a a con for myself that I did in the beginning is that I said yes to everybody. Um, And I realize that now, like, it's not that I don't say yes to everyone, it's just I also have tutors. I have 7 tutors that work for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because it got to be I got so many kids, very fast, and so I needed to start hiring people. I started with 1, and then I noticed that her schedule got full, so I had to keep getting more and more. But I did say yes for me to everybody, even the little kindergartners, like they're teaching them
Mm.
how to read. I had never have taught a child to read, and I had to learn very fast. Had to watch a lot of YouTube videos and trying to figure out how to teach them how to read. But um,
And you were doing this
I will say,
virtually.
no, I was doing this
Oh, okay.
in person. But like I told you, my specialty is middle school. I like middle school and high school. So I
Not the
was saying
babies.
yes to like the first graders and even 4-year-olds. And now I only have one 4-year old and then
Mm.
like 2 5-year-olds and then everyone else is fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, you know. So but it's because they're like my friends, like they're my friends' kids. So I'm like, okay. But now I have other tutors that have
Yeah.
taken on the young ones. And, you know, that was something that I definitely would change. I would probably would have went a different direction with that. But it's cool to teach a kid how to read. It's a really cool moment when you see the like aha moment and they start reading their words. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. That actually just
Right.
happened the first time ever in my tutoring um about 3 weeks ago. And I was like texting the mom and I'm like, can you please come in here? This is crazy. But like act cool, okay? Don't make it a big deal. So like she comes in, I'm like, look, I want to show you something interesting. And then she starts like reading, the girl starts reading the words. And the mom is like, I was like, yeah, I know.
Oh, that is rewarding.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. So I'm assuming because you have 7 different tutors,
Mm.
and yourself, you do all subjects.
Um, yes, we offer all subjects. I have other tutors that do some history and science stuff, the ACT and SAT tutoring. They're like
Mm,
certified to do that. Um, I do the fourth through ninth math and English, and then like I have a reading specialist on my team that she does the younger kids for reading. And then I have a high school and like college math guy that's really good. He only does online, but he's really good. Um, and then the other ones are kind of like elementary math and reading as well, kind of scattered through there. But it's cool because like they all live in different areas. So if someone tells me they live in like North Miami, for example, I have a tutor that can go there and that services that area.
right.
So yeah.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. And do you typically meet, because you're doing this in person, but you also
Hmm.
offer virtual options?
Right.
So are
So
you?
yeah, so I have an office that I rent out. So it's actually funny because it's a counseling office, like a therapy office.
Mm,
So the other three offices, they're doing counseling. And then my office is, we're doing tutoring. They actually told me when I first started there, they're like, it's really nice to have like happy kids like walking around here. I'm like, yeah,
nice.
because they don't, counseling is a different vibe than tutoring.
Right.
So yeah,
Just a bit.
they enjoy us there. But
Although they could go
yeah,
hand in hand sometimes because, some things,
well,
sometimes trauma is the reason why we're not getting those math problems
yes,
because
it's
of,
funny. There's actually been I have two kids that I see right now that they were recommended from like I guess their parent was doing counseling and I guess they were talking about it and the counselor was like, "Oh, there's a tutor literally right here."
oh,
Um, yeah, and I've recommended some of them actually, and they've gotten some people too. So it's kind of
nice.
if a parent is stressed and they're talking about like, "Oh, I don't know why my kid's not making grades and they're stressing out about school, I'm right there. It works out. But
Right.
I have so um yeah, I have my office in Davie and kind of like what my personal schedule looks like throughout the day. Um, it wasn't always like this, but this school year, I really wanted to focus, on the homeschool families because I would go all morning not doing anything. And I'm a doer. I like get stressed out when I'm not like I spent 8 hours today not doing anything. This is crazy. So I knew I had to like dig into the homeschool community. Um, so right now, like from 9:30 to maybe 12, I see homeschool families.
Nice.
And sometimes I keep going. Like today, I'm going to keep going till 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock with the homeschool families. And then I go to my office after that and I'm there the rest of the day for the after school kids, the kids that go to school. Um, but yeah, so there's been some days like today's going to be a 9:30 to 9 p.m. day. But some
Mm,
days are not really like that. It's like some days I have a good little break. I can have lunch with a friend. Like I do the homeschool family in the morning, then I have a break. Like tomorrow's like that. But yeah, I mean, I like it like that. I like being able to tap into two different worlds throughout the day. doing the homeschool and then the regular school kids.
Do you go to the homeschool families?
Yeah, so for the
Okay.
homeschool families, I go there. I have about 7 I have 7 kids. I think it's like 4 families. I just finished one girl that I was tutoring, she just finished her senior year. Like, we just finished it together maybe 2 weeks ago, so I don't see her anymore. But, yeah, most of them do the virtual school in Florida. So, I pretty much help them with their curriculum online and help them with the tests and the quizzes and assignments that they have to do. And then there's another family that I'm just teaching the kids how to read. But yeah.
Nice. Okay. Why do you feel like tutoring is so essential?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, the reality is that I think that no matter what academic level your kid is or your student is, um, it's it's always important to have support. Like, for example, if you have a struggling student, they're gonna need support and they're gonna feel more confident because I think when you start to struggle in school, you don't have the confidence to push
Mm,
yourself and you start to give up a little bit, especially as a kid. When you're not good at something, you want to give up. So, getting that support that you need, even if it's once a week or it's better twice a week because you're getting the extra practice in. It helps with their confidence and it helps them do better in school. And it's funny because if I like look at my list of kids, I would say maybe 50% are actually struggling and the other
mm,
50% are actually above, I would say above the regular grade level. And I think that is great on the parents because they want their kids to continue getting the practice that they, even though they're above grade level, like they're trying to show them like it's okay to get tutoring because tutoring gets a bad rap sometimes. You know,
mm,
it's like, oh, am I not that smart because I'm getting tutoring? No, actually, you are putting yourself in place to be the best, the best at what you can have. If you're the best now, imagine all the options that you can have later on in life. So even if you aren't struggling, like I still recommend tutoring because you're gonna
mm.
continue practicing when everybody else isn't. Um, and that's like a real life principle. If you're working hard when people are laughing and playing around, like you're going to be the one that has the success. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand because I had
Yeah.
previous conversations with tutors, and they were highlighting the fact that a lot of wealthy families start
Mhm.
tutoring, like you said, as far as the four
Right.
and 3 year olds, like they had
Mhm.
young people that they were tutoring, and it's like they were establishing, I guess, just already that foundation, that educational foundation,
Yep.
where it's like, okay, here, I need to get you ready for kindergarten, just for
Mhm.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
So it's like the preparation that some families do take to ensure that their kids
Yeah.
are up and above the standards.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is that tutoring is a luxury if you look
Mm,
at it, because it's not offered to not everyone is able to do it, right?
yes.
But that is why I really try to make my prices affordable. Um, and a good thing about the state of Florida, I don't know if other states do this, is that they have a program called Step Up that it could be for anything. It could be for low income. It could be for if you have a student with unique abilities. It could be even for a homeschool family that they're trying to get a personalized education program. They offer scholarships for all of those. And I am a provider for Step Up. So
Nice.
my families can put my name and they actually don't pay me because they have like a certain amount of money that they can use for tutoring. And so they like put me in their portal and the state of Florida is the one that pays me. So it's like a in between that they can be able to get scholarship money so they can get the tutoring that their child needs. So yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes tutors go a little overboard with how much they charge. um, and I tell my the good thing I'm blessed to have tutors that understand that. I would say I pay my tutors really well, and they know that I don't charge a lot and they're really getting most of it. Like I want
Right.
them to feel like they are getting most of it and that I'm not taking advantage of them. Like I want to say yes to every family, and that means like if I gotta split them up between my tutors, we can do that. So yeah, I mean, there are definitely some wealthy families that I have that I've started with their kids since they were small. But there's also like we want to make tutoring available as much as we can to everyone that really needs it, you know.
Yes. And I feel like Florida has like, don't you have like 3 different like ESAs in Florida? Like,
Like scholarship
yeah.
programs, you know,
I feel like there is at
probably.
least, I know there's at least 2, but I want to say y'all have like 3. I'm not, I
Really?
can't roll off the top, but
Yeah.
Miss Christine was telling me last year about it. So
Mhm.
y'all are definitely, as far as the education
Yeah.
program in Florida, it's definitely a lot of support available for families to take advantage of those
Good.
funds
Yeah.
so that they can distribute to supplement their children's education. Because
Yeah,
that's what
for sure.
tutoring essentially is, a supplement. So you're adding
Right.
on to whatever it is that they're already taking in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's good. I may have to look into that and see if there's more out there.
Yes.
I only know of the one, but yeah.
Definitely. So with that, because you do make it affordable for all families, and that
Mhm.
is awesome, that you are taking
Yeah.
that into consideration because tutoring shouldn't be a luxury, because it's
Mhm.
educational based. So like I
Right.
think anything in terms of education should just be, there. It should be something
Yeah.
that all are able to take advantage of. So no, every state differs, so not every state has those
Yeah.
funds available for families,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately. Yet, we're gonna say yet. We
Right.
don't have it yet.
It should be a thing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Because all children need some kind of resources, some kind of tools
Right.
that are gonna help them along the way.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. So, how do people find you?
Yes. So, kind of how I first started off, um, I just used Facebook a lot. Literally, I got a lot of maybe most of my clients from Facebook. And then it kind of takes them to my website where they can fill out a little form and I contact them. Um, but I really use social media and word of mouth a lot. Um, those are like the two main ways that people find out. My program, at one point, my program had like 50 kids, and right now I have 40. It always like wobbles because people move and they're, going someplace else or they graduated. So, but yeah, I always try to stay between 40 and 50. But yeah.
Nice. And are you meeting with these kids at what, for like an hour, 2? How long?
Yes, yeah. It's an hour, and then like for the 4 and 5-year-olds, I usually do 45 minutes. I used to do 30 minutes, but I think they could handle the 40. If I could think they could handle the 45 minutes, then we'll do that. I know it sounds silly to just do 15 minutes less, but it's a thing.
Makes a
It
difference.
really is.
Yes.
It
Yes.
does make a difference. But yeah, an hour, and then for the young ones, probably 45 minutes.
Okay. And are these like I don't want to say like packages, but okay,
Hmm.
like how it could be like a 6 week type of
Right.
session. Like, is it something like that, or do families just enroll and then they start and then they let you know when they're going to stop or whatever?
Yeah, so they pretty much how it goes is that they can decide to do a weekly rate, which some of them do that, and then they could do a monthly package.
Okay.
Um, there's a 4 session package, and then there's an 8 session package. Um, so the 4 sessions would be a once a week kind of deal, and then the 8 session package would be like a twice a week kind of thing. For my homeschool families, it's a little different. We kind of like come together with a package because I'm seeing them way more than 8 hours a month. That's more for like the regular school, after school families. But I try to keep the same rate all the way around. I just recently changed it to where elementary, middle school, and high school pricing is a little different, just because of the level. And but it's like not that big of a difference. Um, but yeah, yeah, it I everything is mostly package based, and then when it gets to like summertime, there's usually like a pause on everything, or like there I do have some people that continue. Like there are actually some homeschool families that they just keep going um throughout the summer, just not as often. But yeah.
And how do you approach it? Especially, I mean, 40 different family or 40 different individuals,
Hmm.
like that's
Yeah.
different. So are you approaching it like on an assessment? Like y'all start with an assessment and then you
Hmm.
figure out what kind of learner they are and work from there.
Yeah.
How does that look?
So um I assess them in my own way because the most important thing really, like, yes, grades are very important, but on a different level, the thing that's really, really important is their state test that they take. Um, which how it works is that it's called the FAST, FAST. It's called the FAST. And what happens, like, let's say that you have a fourth grader. Your fourth grader is going to take that test 3 times throughout the year, but the only time that it really, really matters is that last time that they take it. So they start their fourth grade year and they take the FAST in August, and they're tested like they've already been through their whole fourth grade year. So it's like they're being tested on things that they don't really know, but we're going to see how much you know. So then we get to December/January, depending on when the school wants to take it again. They've only been through about half of the curriculum or half of the standards, but they should have progressed a little bit. And
Mm.
that's usually after students take the fast the second time, that's usually when my phone starts blowing up. Um, because it's there, the scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you make a 1 or a 2, you're below. 3, 4, 5 is you're good. And so, like, if you're making a 1 at that point, you should probably look into
There's
tutoring or
concern,
getting
yeah.
extra help, because you should at least be maybe a high 2, 3, even if your student is struggling. Um, but yeah, I how I do, like, I wanna say 90% of my kids are because of the fast, and so we don't even do really homework. Maybe if a kid is like, "I forgot to do my homework, can we do it really quick?"
Mhm,
But most of it is preparing for the fast.
mhm,
Um, how I assess them is that it takes about 1 to 2 sessions for probably the first 2 sessions, where I go through the whole standard, all the standards that they have to know. Like, let's say we're doing math, I go through all of the fourth grade math standards, and I'm just testing them on how much they know. So, like if we're doing math, I'll go through and give them like practice questions, and if they know how to do it, they know how to do it. If they don't, they don't. And I rank it like red. I put red highlight means they don't know it at all. Yellow means kinda. Green is like they're good. Usually all of the standards in the beginning are green, and then the ones at the end are red because they really haven't learned it yet. They're gonna learn
mhm.
it in April or probably now March. But um, but yeah, and I read as my priority. That's what we're gonna hit first. And the good thing is that usually when I hit the red stuff first, maybe like a couple weeks later, they're like, well, we're just now learning this. And I kind of knew what the teacher was talking about. And so,
Nice.
um, but yeah, I do it my own way. If the parent does want to get an actual like numerical number or assessment, I do have I don't know if you've heard of the MAP, the NWEA
Mm.
MAP. I have a homeschool method of do it's a homeschool company that does the map that you can pay for your homeschool student to take it and see their progress. So I do have that as well that I offer to parents if they really want the but I type everything out to parents and I send it to them. I'm always communicating with them on how their student is doing and progressing and what they need to work on at home. Um, I will say that's a very important part of tutoring, um, as well. Like, I will I'll give an example. I have a 4th grader that she struggles with math, and in 4th grade, that's when you start to get into, um, fractions, like real fraction work, get into decimals, like, there's a lot of things that you start to get into that they haven't really tapped into. But one skill that you have to have before you do all of that is knowing your times tables. You have to
Mm.
know how to multiply, right? But if she doesn't know how to multiply, she's not going to know how to do everything else. And I think, you know, as parents, if your teacher or your tutor tells you, like, hey, you should probably work on this at home because we only have this much time at school, or we have this much time in a tutoring session, and that should be a skill that you know already. um, I think it's really important to take that feedback and try as much as you can at home to do it too. Um, that's one thing I would, you know, say to parents for
Yeah.
sure, because that's what's going to bring them, you know, to being more confident, like going back to that.
Indeed. Yeah, I know a lot of times grades don't necessarily reflect the actual
Yeah, they
knowledge that
don't.
the young person has.
Yeah.
Recently the news has shared two young people that have sued the public
Mm,
school system for their lack of preparation, they said, as far as reading and
really?
writing. Yes, a young lady graduated with honors, and she said that she cannot efficiently read and write. And then a
Wow.
boy, also a young man, graduated, and he said he can't read. So
Wow.
that has been a thing. I was going to ask, are there any commonalities amongst your students that you see like they're lacking as far as the 40 that you have?
Um, well, I will say that I definitely like I have a handful of parents that have told me like I don't get why they're not doing good in their like fast because their grades are all A's.
Mm,
And I'm like, well, you know, I don't know if every school is just, you know, I don't want to say that the teacher's not being honest, but like it's just there's a that sounds crazy. Um, there's a lot. I was a teacher, like there's a lot that goes into it. Like if the school has a certain way of like what they need to do with their grading system, but we don't know.
yeah.
But
I know, and Florida's on a 10 points grading scale also. So it's kind of easy to get an A in Florida. Like it's not
yeah,
really that
yeah,
hard. Like
yeah, and that's why I usually don't really look at grades first. I look at the fast scores first when we start our tutoring.
and then
Um,
with those though, those will kind of be like, you know, because okay, so one, I'm not a good test taker. Never have been. Like it took
yeah,
me forever to get my teaching license with the practice
yeah,
too. Okay. So also with my permit, like my driving permit too. Go all the way back to that.
yeah.
But just testing in general has never been a strong suit for me. Um
Mhm.
and definitely not when it was on Scantrons and we were bubbling. You know, you miss
Oh
one
my
bubble
God.
and then your whole life is over. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that can, reflect also with a kid's knowledge not being
Mhm.
able to be presented in the manner that they're able to present it in. Because, you know,
Yeah.
circling A, B, C, D doesn't work for everyone. Some people are able to, like, you know, if you were to ask
Yeah.
them the question and have them verbally explain it to you, then they can boom, 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 boom. Or if you were to ask
Mhm.
them to draw something out for you, they can boom, 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 boom. But
Yeah.
when it comes to actually reading the question and choosing between A, B, C, D, it's like,
Mhm.
oh man, this is too much. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's do we ever really get the true reflection of a kid's knowledge through, you know, those
Yeah.
type of dynamics, grades and testing in general?
I mean, I that that's a hard question because, like, I know, like, there are some times where sometimes we study for a test, like, and this happens, I don't wanna say often, but, like, when it does happen, I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." Like, we spent, like, 3 sessions working on this, and I feel like you knew this very, very well, and then the
Mm,
test comes around and, they make, like, a 60, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't think you should have bombed it," you know? I think
right.
you should have at least done a little better than that, but I my first question is always, "How did you feel when you were taking the
I
test? Were you
know, right?
nervous?"
Yes.
And it's always a, "Yeah, I was nervous taking the test." So,
Right, get to sweating and everything. And then it's
yeah.
like, I mean, there's so many cause and effect factors. You have to ask, like, did you eat
Mhm.
breakfast? Like, were you thinking
Yeah.
about something? Did you get enough rest that night
Yep.
before? Like, you know, there's so many different factors
Mhm.
that go into preparation or being prepared,
Mhm.
so to speak, for something that is just
Yeah.
like, there's it's just, I don't know, it's a gamble. It's a gamble either
Yeah.
way. Even if you do
I
go in
know.
there with the knowledge, it's just like, is it gonna come out how I need
Mhm.
it to? Do I remember? Oh, I need to,
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah, especially, like, I remember last year, probably the hardest I ever worked slash was exhausted, like, I was very close to, like, burning out, was end of like, after spring break to May, which after
mm,
spring break was, like, the last week of March to the beginning of May, because it was, like, everybody was getting tutoring for the
mm,
fast, and it was, like, we were all just, like, working hard, um, and then, like, I got pretty nervous too, because like, parents would start sending me their kids' scores, and I'm like, "Oh god, I hope they did good."
um,
But, if I'm getting nervous, like, I can't
right.
imagine when the kid is taking it, like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. I know I used to talk to a lot of honor students, AP
Mhm.
even, and they would be
Yep.
like, they had the same anxieties. Like, even with how smart people deemed them to be, they were
Yeah.
anxious about the test. Like, they will lose
Mhm.
sleep and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that goes into those standardized tests. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to help families with this.
Yeah. We're trying the best we can.
You are doing, love. You
Yes.
are doing. You mentioned burned out, like burning out.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have tried to make it a habit of asking guests, how do
Mhm.
you self-care? What do you do to
Oh,
make sure that you are replenished? Because you, like you say, you working from
mhm.
9 to 9 a day,
I
girl.
know. I mean, yeah, like, I'm doing 9:30 to 9 today,
Sounds
but,
crazy. Just
I know.
sounds like abuse.
I well, I will say, when I was teaching, I was not putting myself first. I was putting everyone else, above, like, my own health at one point, like, um I was waking up at 4:45 in the morning and wasn't going to bed until midnight. When I say
Mm,
that I was like, and that's because I was trying to, make money because I was not making enough money. And I was tutoring and I was coaching 2 different sports with 2 different teams and also teaching. And, like, really, I was not getting enough sleep.
yeah, your
I
plate
was
was
not
full,
doing
girl.
I was not doing anything, like, fun for myself. Like, I was
Mm,
just, doing the same thing every day, and it took a super big toll on me. And I know now, like, I have the opportunity to make my own schedule. And, like, today, even though, like, oh, I'm working, like, a lot, but yesterday was more of, like, a chill day because I wanna make sure that I'm having time to be able to, spend for myself, that I need, like, rest. That's one thing that I have always worked on my whole life because I don't give myself rest. And so,
Mm.
like, tomorrow I have time where I'm gonna be able to rest. I also like to pour into, stuff like I love playing volleyball. I play volleyball almost every day.
Aw.
Um, I also really find it important to go to the gym, and I do more, like, sporty things to kind of decompress. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like spending time with my friends too on the weekend. Like, I used to work when I say I would when I said yes to everyone back in the day, I would work 7 days a week. I was working
Mm.
Saturday and Sunday, and I was saying yes to everyone. And it got to a point where I'm like, "I'm gonna quit tutoring." Like, like, I make my own schedule. Why am I doing this? So now I only work, Monday to Friday. If
Mm.
when it gets to fast season, I will say I will open up Saturday. Like, I it's getting closer to the fast, and some parents need more. So, I'll maybe put, like, 1 or 2 sessions on a Saturday. Um, but yeah, I think that if you're a person like me and you're a go-getter, like, you still wanna find time to rest. That's very important because you wanna be your best self for your kids, right? That's always important. So, um, yeah, yeah, that's it.
Oh, thank you for sharing, love.
Yeah.
And before I let you go,
Mhm.
3 things you would leave families with. Like, if you didn't hear anything else, hear this. 3 things.
Mm, okay, 3 things. Okay. Um, 1, I would say kind of going back to, like, I think that there is a fine line between balancing school and being a kid, you know? I think that if you have the tools, you can use tutoring to support your child. But I think it's also important that a kid is a kid and they should have time to be a kid as well. Overdoing it is never going to do anything good for a child. So if, there's a time to do school and there's a time for them to play and have fun, and I think that's important. Um, 2, there your kid is always going to, um, just because they may not be the smartest or they may not be the wisest. I was actually not very smart growing up. I had to work for it. And now I'm teaching kids how to do things. And so, um, I always would have 100% faith in my kids and what they do. And even if they're not the smartest or the brightest, I know they're going to get there one day. And then 3, just for all of the teachers or tutors out there, always make sure that you put yourself first and you put your happiness above anything else. As teachers or tutors, we're givers. We don't take a lot. So make sure that you always put yourself first.
Thank you for that. Yes,
Yeah.
givers. Yeah. Because when you said earlier, it's like I used to ignore my health, like as far as
Hmm.
mental, physical, all
Yeah.
that. Girl, relate. I can relate, honey. It's a lot. It's a lot. Teachers are amazing, and they definitely
Hmm.
pour out a lot. So,
Yeah.
and parents also, just people in general, I just want them to focus,
Mhm.
like you said, the happiness part. Like you
Yeah.
have to remember you're happy above all else. Like we're not here to be
Yes.
tortured. We're not here to not like
Yes.
be okay or to, not to enjoy. So find
Mhm.
your joy and don't let it go. Definitely always remember to pour into yourself. And remember that this isn't a journey you have to do by yourself because we
Yeah.
have wonderful people like Abby who are
Mhm.
establishing tutoring services for your families. So know
Yeah.
that, because we think of homeschooling, we think that we have to know everything. No, you don't. No,
You
you just need
don't.
to
Yeah.
know how to find the people that know what you don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
know
good.
that, yes, right? There, know that it's available, know that the support is there, and reach out for it. Definitely.
Mhm.
Abby's links will be available in the description. Definitely take advantage of supplementing your children's education because it's needed. Even if they
Yeah.
are at level or above, just some
Mhm.
reinforcement is good. It goes a long way.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
set them up the right way. But thank you, Abby. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time. And, families, homeschool your kids.